Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle and this is a word of caution regarding watching pick a card love readings. So while there is nothing inherently wrong with wanting to know where you stand with the love interest on your mind, the reason why you're wanting to know where you stand with them matters greatly, as it can greatly impact your mental and emotional well-being. So a very good question to ask yourself when it comes to why you're watching pick a card love readings is, am I simply curious or am I actually clinging? Holding on to hope isn't always a good thing, especially if it's keeping you stuck in limerence or in codependence. The last thing I want to do is to enable limerence and codependence with the content that I create. I want to help you create a life in which you're truly thriving, not keep you stuck in survival mode. And I know how it all works because I've been there. So this is where grace, knowledge, understanding, and compassion come in. It's okay if the only way you're able to self-soothe in this moment is by way of participating in coping mechanisms, distractions, and the like. As long as you're also doing yourself a favor by learning how to heal the wounding that has been fueling any limerence and or codependent patterns that you might have. My promise to you is that as you heal the wounding, your dependency on your SP, which means specific person, aka the person on your mind, or your ex, will begin to dissolve naturally, to the point where you're not even curious about what they're thinking and how they're feeling about you anymore. I know this to be true from personal experience. When you're ready to start healing the wounding, I have some amazing resources to get you going. My personal recommendation is to start with 2 videos, how to stop manifesting separation, and then the other one is called Releasing the Wants. Both videos will be linked in the description box below. My heart is always with you guys, and with that I bid you more happy viewing. Love, Michelle. Hi Pile 1, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. We are doing another pick a card love reading. This one is the manifesting your specific person or a future spouse. Okay, help with doing that. And so what we're going to be delving into in this reading is looking at what are the main blocks on your guys' side in terms of manifesting this person in, and then what's the path to walk that is the quickest path to align you to your preferred timeline. Okay, so just to kind of give you guys a heads up, when I'm doing this reading, I'm coming from a space of somebody who thoroughly believes in and follows the law of assumption and the belief that everyone and everything is you pushed out, that your outer 3D world is 100% a mirror reflection of your own inner world and your own inner dialogue. Okay, so if you're somebody who's easily triggered, if you might have a difficult time really looking at your own role and how you manifested the version of your specific person, you know, or the absence of a future spouse, right? Whichever your goal is here. This reading may not help you, okay? I'm just trying to, I don't want to waste anybody's time here, okay? Because we are going to be looking at you, your energy, what you've been doing that's keeping you anchored in a timeline with your specific person or a future spouse or a lack of a future spouse that you're not wanting to experience, okay? I just want to throw that out there. So keep in mind, Pile 1, it's a general reading. You know, if it resonates, you can do something with that, right? And at the end, I'll give you guys some guidance. You know, if there's resources that I mention, I'll try to remember to link them. Let me get a piece of paper while I'm at it. Yeah, I'll write it down to put it down in the resource, you know, in the description box below. If it's not resonating, just drop that piece of information or that message and leave it behind for, you know, the people that it does resonate for, right, you guys? And I do have personal readings available if you would like for me to tap exclusively into your energy to find out, you know, specifically what might be blocking you or keeping you from jumping into the preferred timeline that you want, okay? All the booking details are in the description box below. If you're looking for help with your own personal manifestation energy, I recommend booking a live one-on-one via Zoom with me. Those are way more interactive, and there's just something magical about sitting face to face, you know, or I guess just say live via Zoom, right? Anyway, we won't be too much in the intro. So you guys were drawn to the Pyrite cube. The fact that you guys were drawn to like a cube, which squares are always indicative, or I should say the shape of a square is indicative of stabilization, okay? So there might need to be a need to ground. There could be some work that's needing to be done on your lower 3 chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra. You know, Pyrite is working with the solar plexus, so we'll see how that carries forth. All right, let me get your cards situated out here. Oh, you guys got 4 of the shadow cards. Okay, so what we're going to take a look at first, you guys, is the shadow attributes, what's going on in your energy that is keeping you tethered to a timeline with your person or a future spouse or lack thereof that you're no longer wanting to experience. And so let's see, we have infidelity. It says engages in frequent physical affairs to satisfy cravings, lies about their whereabouts in personal relationships with others. We have tripping. I'm just telling you what these say, and then I'll let you guys know what the energy that's coming through. We also have tripping, which says thinks others are doing them dirty, makes mountains out of molehills, throws temper tantrums, mental breakdowns, alternate reality. Stuck says immobilized by the fear of succeeding or the fear of losing, unsure of oneself. And then we also have a lack of affection. Misinterprets lack of affection as dislike or loss of love. Feels insecure about connection. Argues when they feel they aren't getting enough affection and time. Okay, so you guys are coming from a space of having a very clingy energy. Okay, you could be somebody that identifies as being definitely coming through with an insecure attachment, which of course, you know, it's not always going to be the case. It's not always going to be that the reason why you're not manifesting in something is because of some kind of a, you know, insecure attachment style. Sometimes it's just we're in the bad habit of, you know, thinking certain ways and stuff like that, and all that might be required is just, you know, affirming, you know, on repeat until it becomes a habit. But there's attachment and abandonment wounds coming through for you guys, okay? And so your guys' main issue is a fear that you're going to be abandoned, a fear, not just abandoned, but abandoned for somebody else. And that fear can have, you know, you could have 3D evidence and proof of that happening. You know, we're not discounting the fact of why, you know, you have an abandonment wound. A lot of the times, you know, wounds exist because it's something that we've experienced, right? And so for you guys, what's coming through is the way that you're basically getting in your own way in terms of manifesting in a relationship dynamic with, you know, the person on your mind, whether it's an actual person or it's the hope and the wish and the dream of a future spouse, is fear, okay, is some kind of an insecure attachment wound, and it's leaning more on the anxious side. But of course, you know, there's disorganized insecure attachment, which I believe is what they call fearful avoidant, okay? Specifically though, being cheated on, being left for somebody else, not being chosen, there's always that fear running in the background that, you know, someone's doing you dirty or they're going to do you dirty. It's that bracing for impact, right? You're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. When am I going to be let down? When am I going to be disappointed? And when you're coming from that space from a manifestation standpoint, if you're bracing for someone to break your heart, that's exactly the experience that you're in, that you are always in the process of creating, right? Stuck says immobilized by fear of succeeding or the fear of losing, unsure of oneself. Let me look at that one because it looks like it could go either way. With the other energies here, It's leaning more towards the fear of losing the person, your person. For those of you that are here wanting to manifest in a future spouse, your nervous system could be blocking your future spouse from coming in because there is an expectation of loss, you know, an expectation of being abandoned. Let's see, lack of affection, misinterprets lack of affection as dislike or loss of love. And so you guys might tend to take other people's actions or lack of actions very personally, making it mean something about yourself when that doesn't always have to be the case, right? Maybe you're hyper focused on what somebody is and isn't doing, and it's because you're putting a meaning to it that says, well, if this person isn't, you know, always calling me, if they're not, you know, if they're not calling me every single day, that means A, B, C, D, and E. It means that they're not thinking about me, they don't miss me. And that could be true, but there's a clinginess coming through it with your energy on that. Like, you need your person to text you every single day. You need your person to tell you that, you know, they love you. And there's a very distinct difference in the energy between needing something and wanting something. There's nothing wrong with desiring. There's nothing wrong with having a preference. Your guys' issue is coming in because those are things you're needing. It's like you need that proof, the proof that, you know, it's like your nervous system is needing proof of those things. And the fact that, you know, so for instance, you might want your person or need your person or crave your person texting you all the time because that's your way of knowing that they haven't forgotten about you, right? And so you're coming from a space of like, you're afraid of being forgotten, you're afraid of being abandoned, you're afraid of being left for someone else. And that's exactly why you're having the experiences that you are having, whether it is, you know, continued experiences of someone cheating on you, someone leaving you behind for somebody else, being left for a third party, not being chosen, being abandoned, all of that stuff, okay? But particularly, it's like, you know, detaching yourself from any kind of meaning you might be making when it comes to someone's lack of affection, lack of acknowledgement. There's a million different reasons why people might not be, you know, super affectionate. That might just not be their love language. I'm not saying that it is or isn't for your guys' case, but there's an overall message here of start detaching yourself from making any personal meaning out of what your person or just other people in general are or are not doing. Like, detach from wanting to make that personal and make it mean something personal about yourself. Again, going back to everyone and everything as you pushed out, you know, that person is just mirroring you back to you, okay? And so anytime someone, you know, especially if this is about dealing with a specific person, really slow down and ask yourself, you know, what is it I'm making this mean when, you know, this person isn't texting me every day, or that they're not telling me that they love me and stuff like that, and deal with the feelings that come up. And it could be like you're putting pressure on yourself. You need your person to tell you, you know, you need compliments, you need validation and stuff like that. And it's that needing validation that continues to create the same relationship dynamic with the same kinds of people. You're always going to be left wanting validation because that's where you're coming from. And so for you guys, it's like learning how to fill your own cup, right? Working on clearing out any emotional baggage or any kind of trauma, working through any attachment wounds and abandonment wounds, so that, you know, yes, you can still have a preference. You can say, I love notes, I love thoughtful things, I love being considered and stuff like that, but you're not clinging to it because you're already fulfilled in who you are, okay? Tell me about stuck. Yeah. Let's see, Knight of Swords. We got Knight of Swords in the reverse. That's an air energy. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. There's a lot of cutting energy coming from you as well. Like, if you don't get what you want, you can be very and you may not see it this way, okay? And I'm not saying this is something conscious that you do, but you could very well, you know, do what's called protest behavior, okay? Where if you're not getting what you want from your person, you'll tend to want to strong arm them, maybe guilt them, even manipulate them into getting what you want, getting validation. Anytime you're trying to, like, for instance, if you're sending a text to your person, really check your motivation. Where's that motivation coming from? Are you just happy to let that person know that you're thinking about them, and you have no attachment whatsoever to what kind of a response you might get? That's where the problem lies. There's nothing wrong with sending text to your person, but if you're telling them that you love them in hopes of hearing it back from them, that's a clingy kind of an energy. Again, nothing wrong with desiring that, right? Nothing wrong with preferring that, but it becomes a problem when you do that out of a clinginess energy. If that's the case, then the best thing to do is just to ask your person, hey, do you love me? Right? And then go from there. With the Knight of Swords in the reverse, clarifying the stuck energy. Tell me more about the Knight of Swords reverse as it's clarifying stuck here. Yeah, your manifestation with the Three of Wands here is, this feels like one foot on the brake pedal and one foot on the gas. There's a lot of energy being spent and nothing's going anywhere. Because you keep cycling the same pain over and over and over again. Your attachment to your person, it could be love. I'm not saying that there's not a connection, not a real true bond between you and your person, but there's a toxic attachment taking over. Okay, and again, we got to remember your person and the relationship dynamic with them, it's 100% a reflection of you and your own inner dialogue. And so finding out what it is that's keeping your foot on the brake, and really what's keeping your foot on the brake is an abandonment wound, a fear of being left, a fear of not being enough, or a fear of being forgotten. That's what is keeping your foot on the brake, right? And as soon as you work through those issues, then it's full steam ahead, all systems go, right? Nothing but green lights. You guys could be feeling very tired and fatigued too. Let's see. You have trust issues, definite trust issues here with tripping. Thinks others are doing them dirty, makes mountains out of molehills, and you might, right? And, no shade on you at all. All of this is coming from a space probably of where you've experienced these things before, and so your nervous system is on super high alert. And so it's not you necessarily that's making mountains out of molehills. It's your abandonment wound. It's your inner child. And really that's coming from a space of wanting to protect you, right? And so no shade coming through any of this. This is just a magnifying glass letting you know where you're getting in your own way, or what's getting in your way of, being able to quantum jump into the timeline that you're wanting to experience, okay? Either with your person or just with love in general, with the future spouse, all of that stuff. The key cornerstone here, though, that you fear is infidelity, all right? With engages in frequent physical affairs to satisfy cravings, lies about whereabouts in personal relationships with others. Now, that's either you fearing being cheated on by someone else, or this could be something that you battle with, being, being faithful. Of course, there's different people tuning in, so just, the wounding underneath is real, whichever side of the fence you're on. It's, some of you are afraid of being left for someone else, and so you're the one that leaves first. You're the one that sabotages first. Some of you have experienced that, and so you're super clingy, needing to know where your person's at all the time. Let me know you're thinking about me. Please tell me that you love me, all that stuff, because that's your way of knowing that you're not going to be cheated on. But the fact that that's the space that you're coming from is the very reason why you continue to experience that, or you're just not finding love at all, but you're blocking it out to keep that from happening. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Let's look at hack your nervous system. This is somatic, right? So this is something that you can do in the actual 3D that will help. It's the fastest path to get you aligned to where it is you're wanting to go, either with the person on your mind or manifesting in a future spouse, whatever. And so for you guys, we have free write, and you can just kind of take a picture if you want of that. This says take 5 to 10 minutes and allow yourself to write freely, letting the words spill onto the page in whatever way they choose to arrive. Give yourself permission to write. Give yourself permission to write nonsensically, without order, without censoring yourself. Once you finish, do not read your writing. Simply tear it up, burn it, or crush the paper and throw it away. In smaller words there, it says free writing clears the mind, reduces stress, and enhances decision making. Let me see something. There's something coming through here about the reason why this free writing is being suggested for you guys, in terms of like what's going to help unpack some of that, emotional baggage or trauma that you might be carrying around in relation to, maybe infidelity. Is that there's something you may not be seeing. Let me look at it. Why is free write being suggested here for pile 1 in terms of their shadow? Yeah, you're feeling mentally trapped. You're in a prison of your own making, okay? It's your own self-doubts and fears. And again, not discounting the experiences that you have had that have caused you to form that own mental prison, right? Not at all. But once you really begin to understand your role in how the 3D forms, your experience, how it forms, you can take power back, okay? Right now, you guys are hyper fixated on what is or isn't happening in your guys' physical 3D reality with your person or with romantic relationships in general. It's like you're oh, okay, that's what they're saying. There's a story that you're currently hypnotized by, and a story can be something like, I'm not good enough, I'm always being left behind, or men or women always cheat, or, marriages isn't safe, or something like that. All good things must come to an end. There's a certain story that you're completely 100% hypnotized, you're bought into, that really needs to be looked at. And, you need to disassociate yourself from whatever that story is. But it is definitely rooted in fear, okay? Anything else about that? And if you do the free writing exercise, it'll help you to discover what that story is. For some of you, it may be unexpected, okay? There's a restlessness in your energy with the Four of Swords, too, that needs to be dealt with. So your person's absence in your life, or just an absence of romantic love in general, could be making you feel very restless. There could be a restless energy that seems to maybe be urging you to maybe get on dating apps or find a replacement, or a restless energy that might cause you to want to reach out and, cling to your person or something like that. That restless energy needs to be dealt with as well, okay? If you don't know how to do any of that, like, what do you do with restless energy when it's triggered? Please check the description box. I have a whole other channel called Pure Godfidence. And in the description box of this video, there's two videos I recommend on that channel for you to get started. The first one is how to stop manifesting separation between you and your future spouse, or you and a specific person, okay? The second video is the process by which to do that. It's called Releasing the Wants. That will help you deal with this restless energy that might have you seeking out romantic connection just overall. And the reason why this is an issue is because if that's the energy that you're manifesting something in, you're going to be trapped in that restless energy. You're always going to be seeking validation no matter what evidence you are able to manifest that you're loved. Because there's a wounding that's always powering it, it's never going to be enough. You'll never get enough compliments from your person. You'll never get enough validation. you might think that getting what you want from your person would help ease it, and it might temporarily, but as long as the wounding itself is active, you'll eventually start to question even the evidence of love that you are manifesting or you are experiencing. Okay, you guys, pile one, that was your reading. I hope that it helped. If it did, if you got from this reading what you came here for, take a minute if you would. Oh, we didn't even look at this one. My bad. Let's look into the unknown real quick, because that's the that is the path to take to get you to where you need to be. That's the quickest path to take. And so we have into the unknown. And it is reversed. So it says inexperience plus overconfidence can lead you into a dangerous situation for which you're unprepared. Always remember that wisdom comes from experience. Keep an open mind and enter this part of your journey with alert eyes. Do not assume you know this territory. You may not recognize what is hidden by camouflage. This is not a time for careless adventure. Actually, what's coming through here, you guys, is without you even knowing it, you might be forecasting or future projecting pain, disappointment, loss, grief. Like, that's your expectation. Again, when's the other shoe gonna drop, right? And so there is a fearlessness of saying, okay, how about you change that? Yes, it's gonna take some I don't want to say delusional, okay? It might feel like that to you, because especially if you're someone who's only ever experienced cheating or abandonment or attachment wounding or being let down by others or whatever the case may be, it might be very difficult for you to imagine something else. But that's exactly what is being said, being guided. Like, that's the direct path to get you onto the timeline, either with your person or a future spouse, is to dare to believe that you don't know what your person's next move is going to be, even though you might have patterning that says, right? You might have a patterning that predicts what your person's next move is going to be. But if you follow the law of assumption and everything is you pushed out, you'll see that your assumptions are exactly what is creating your experience. And so dare to believe that you can have a whole new different experience with your person, and just with romance in general, if you're here wanting to manifest in a specific a future spouse. Give me a minute. Okay, so yeah, dare to believe. So in the quantum field of, infinite possibilities, all things are possible. There is a timeline and a reality out there where you and your specific person, or you and your future spouse, are just, I'm hearing iconically, oh wow, you guys are iconically happy. And this means that, your person and or your future spouse is exactly who you need them to be in order for you to be, to be happy in that connection. And understand and realize that what's going to help you manifest or jump into that timeline is going to be you being able to be in Godfidence, right? Confidence that's coming from your own God space, Godfidence. There's an acknowledgement that, cheating is always possible. Abandonment is always possible. But when you're in a Godfident space, while that's not preferred, it's like, well, if it happens, it happens. You take it as a learning, a lesson, and then, knowing that you have the tools to work through it. And it may not be something that you see as being abandoned. It's like, you can never be abandoned because you always have your own back. You are the universe. You're it, right? And so you might look at abandonment as, well, I'm not being abandoned. And really what's happening here, if someone left you, they abandoned themselves, right? From having, that's what ends up, happening quite a bit. But again, everyone and everything is you pushed out. And so this is like, dare to believe that a whole different experience with your person and or just with the future spouse in general is possible. Okay, dare to believe that. In fact, that is the path that is going to get you there. To deny the past that you've experienced so far that has created the abandonment wound and be like, okay, yes, that was my experience. It's happened before, but that doesn't mean that it's going to continue to happen again. Okay. All right, pile 1, that was your reading. Thank you so much. Comment below. Let me know that you picked this pile, if it did resonate or if you got help from it. Become part of the family if you haven't already done so by subscribing. Don't forget about the notification bell so you don't miss a reading or an announcement. And you guys, I will see you at your next Pick a Card Love reading by pile 1. What's going on, pile 2? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. We're doing another Pick a Card Love reading. This is manifesting in the person on your mind, your specific person, however you want to see them, or manifesting in a future spouse. We're going to be looking into your energy and what is getting in your way of quantum jumping into the timeline, the preferred timeline that you're wanting to experience, okay? So just setting up so you guys know where I'm coming from. When I speak on manifestation, I'm coming from a space of somebody who completely buys into the law of assumption and everyone and everything is you pushed out, okay? Meaning that the outside 3D world is 100% a direct reflection of your own inner world and your own inner dialogue, your assumptions and stuff like that. Okay, so if you're someone who, for whatever reason, and no shade if this is you, but if you're somebody that has a difficult time really accepting maybe the role that you played in the relationship dynamic between you and your person, you know, and how it's unfolded or how, you know, you contributed to that, or, you know, the way that your energy might be contributing to a lack of a future spouse, this is not going to be your reading, okay? You're not going to have a good time here, and I don't want to waste your time, okay? This is for people who pretty much understand that they are, you know, the god of their own reality, and they are 100% responsible for the experiences that they are having now, okay? Yeah, so for those of you where, you know, if this reading, if you're going to move forward and this reading triggers you in any way, I do have a whole other channel that deals with shadow work that helps you get started in it. That'll help you dissolve any attachments you might have, any aversions you might have, any emotional baggage or trauma that you feel, you know, is kind of keeping you tethered to a timeline that you no longer want to be bound to. All right, just check the description box below. My other channel is called Pure Godfidence, and the video to start first with is called How to Stop Manifesting Separation. And the second video is the process by which to do that, called Releasing the Wants, and that'll get you guys started in that direction, okay, you guys? Pile 2, you were drawn to the Chrysocolla. Oh yeah, don't forget, it's a general reading, it's collective, so, you know, whatever resonates, awesome, you can do something with that, okay? I'll give you resources if they come up. If it doesn't resonate, just drop it, whatever that message is or that information is, just drop it and leave it behind for the people that it does resonate for, okay? I do have personal readings if you would like for me to exclude everyone else's energy and just tap exclusively into your own. I actually, for, like, if you're wanting to know, like, what your own personal blocks is and you really want to zero in on what it is about your wounding or your issues that continue to keep you anchored in a timeline you're no longer wanting to be anchored in, I suggest booking like a one-on-one with me through Zoom, okay? Very interactive readings. We get pretty deep into what's going on there, okay? But feel free to check out all the other readings that are available. All right, let's see, pile 2, let's get into your energy. The first thing we're going to look at is the main energies keeping you tethered into your undesired timeline. And that's going to be like, you know, what's keeping you in a timeline with the person on your mind where, you know, you're not fulfilled, you're not happy, Or for those of you wanting to manifest a future spouse, like, you know, what's keeping you from experiencing a timeline with your future spouse. And so let's see, we have sheep, and this says, appears to be stronger than they are, hides their weaknesses. True colors are revealed when times get tough or when challenged. Sex you up says, feels they're not satisfied in bed or feels they're not satisfying their partner enough. Withdrawals or increases demand based on self-worth. And broken says, blames themselves and feels guilty. Continuously apologizes even if not at fault. Feels they need to fix things repeatedly. Let me see what's the other side of this one here. Okay. So with sheep, appears to be stronger than they are, hides their weaknesses, true colors are revealed when times get tough or when challenged. You guys may have a really difficult time letting your weaknesses be known. This feels like a mask. Always wanting, you know, like to keep that chin up, right? Which there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, if it's coming from a space of hiding your true colors, hiding what you're really feeling, not wanting others to see you suffering, it's a very thin line that's coming through with that. It's that energy of like, I'm good, when you're really not, when you're dying inside and holding a lot in. But it almost feels like, you know, I need to have this mask on. I can't let people see that I'm suffering. I can't let them see that I'm hurting. Got to keep that chin up, right? You may have a difficult time letting others know, like being yourself authentically. There's something about you. And again, this could be subconscious, and I really urge you, pile 2, to really sit down with this and ask yourself these hard questions, right? There's something about you, though, you're not living authentically. You're not living true to self. There's kind of a people-pleasing energy coming through, afraid of not being liked or afraid of not being seen as somebody who is, oh, what's that? It's not necessarily coming through as strong. What is that? Again, there's just this feeling of coming through, like, you know, you got to keep your chin up, not wanting, you know, like they're like you don't want people to see you as weak. Not wanting people to see you as weak because you might feel like, oh, they're gonna take advantage of me, or I can't let them know they got the best of me. I feel like I'm missing something, though. Give me a second, you guys. Some of you might, for whatever reason, use sex as a gauge. Some of you might be using sex as like, kind of like an express lane to intimacy when it comes to romantic connections. There could be a thing with you guys too where you're afraid of not being satisfied sexually. That might be the energy of like, okay, that's when's the other shoe gonna drop when it comes to you, you know, your dating life. Yeah, you guys have this thing where you feel like you have to appear like you have it all together. But there's something that where you're doing that and it's not authentic. And so what's coming through for you guys, pile 2, is one of the fastest ways for you to get onto the timeline where, you know, your preferred timeline, whatever that may be, is to dissolve the mask and break it and let other people see you hurt. Let people know that you're disappointed. Let them know that, you know, they broke your heart. Let them know that they let you down. Let them know, or that, you know, just let them, like, say for instance, if you're dating somebody and there's kind of an avoid. Yeah, I'm having a hard time even tapping into your guys's. That's how strong that mask is. Hold on. There's an energy of maybe you like wanting to know what's going on with your person, or wanting to know how your person feels about you, but not asking. Scared to ask. And it could be coming from a space of fearing rejection, but it feels like it's coming more from a space of, like, you know, not wanting to look like the weak one. Like, I can't let them know that they got the best of me. I can't let them know that they could get the best of me. Very on guard. Very on guard. That guard needs to come down, pile 2. And I get it. You know, the guard is there for a reason. And I'm not giving you any information where it's just like, I know it's going to be easy for you to do that. Not at all, right? Again, that's why I recommended those videos. That'll, you know, doing the shadow work is going to help you, you know, start the path to letting that guard down. It's okay if you expected something from your person and it didn't pan out. It's okay that you feel disappointed, but it's also okay to show that. It's okay to let somebody else know that, regardless of whether they apologize or not, right? Something about living authentically. Something about feeling like you got to keep on a brave face. Trust issues are coming through. Tell me about sex you up. Feels they're not satisfied in bed, or feels they're not satisfying their partner enough. What is that about? Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, and then the Three of Wands. Let me look at something real quick, you guys. Let's check out the path that's being recommended for you guys. The quickest path that's going to get you from where you're at now to where you want to be. We got education in the reverse. The number 35 or the number 8 could be significant. All right, in the reverse, it says stubbornness and the desire to know it. Stubbornness and the desire to know it all and be right no matter what will not get you what you want. Or could it be that you're afraid to be seen as someone who knows less than you're supposed to? Could you be flying through life by the seat of your pants, hoping no one will notice you're skimming the surface of things? Life is filled with lessons, some bitter and some sweet. A strident lust for certainty will never bring you the wisdom you seek. Pretending to know more than you do won't make you wise. Be assured that not knowing is a magical place to be. All manner of mysteries are revealed. Be open. It's okay not to know. Okay, yeah, and that might be that brave face, right? That might be that brave face, that mask. And it is that mask and that brave face, believe it or not, pile 2, that's getting in the way of you being able to quantum jump into the timeline that you're wanting to experience. Again, and this is one of those, you know, this is one of those come to Jesus moments, as they would call it. You know, we're talking about you. We're not talking about your person, okay? You have a problem with living authentically. The advice and the guidance that's coming through is, you know, take that mask off. Take that brave face off and let people know how you're hurting. You know, if something sucks, say that, right? It's okay to hurt. That's human. It's okay to be disappointed. It's part of our experience here. There's such a duality in your energy, though, that I'm picking up on. Okay, so it sex you up. Then we got the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse and the Three of Wands. Maybe the duality I'm picking up on is a fearful avoidant attachment here. You guys could be using sex as a stand-in for a true, authentic connection. There's some stickiness and messiness in that area, and that's not a pun, okay? Really look at that, though. There's something about sex. You might use sex as a way to either detach or attach to somebody. And so there's kind of a thing here, like if you were to take sex off of the table when it comes to you and your person, or just, you know, if you were to deny sex for yourself, that would be your way of finding out like what a connection is truly made out of when you don't allow sex to be involved. And that can be very, you know, a lot of the time sex can be the glue that holds, you know, a connection together, good or bad. And actually that's more on the bad side, because that's the only way that you and your person are able to have, you know, if that's the only place where that chemistry works. But when you're outside of the bedroom, it just, nothing seems to work. There's something there about that. Like what happens if you were to hang out with your person and not have sex with them? Not to say that you can't have romance, right? Kissing and hugging and, you know, being affectionate and stuff like that. But there's almost a sense here like you're going to find out really what that connection is made out of. If you get bored with your person unless you're having sex with them, it's like, yeah, probably not the best, you know what I mean? The best gauge of a connection. Tell me more about broken. Again, this is blames themselves and feels guilty, continuously apologizes even if not at fault, feels they need to fix things repeatedly. You may not be seeing the strength in the pain, or the strength in the ability to allow others to see the pain that you're in or the pain that they're causing you. There's vulnerability in that, right? There may be a desire to want to hide that too. Like, yeah, you might blame yourself and you might feel guilty and you might be somebody that feels the need to continuously apologize, you know, and that may be why you're always putting on a brave face, because there's almost a feeling coming through of like, I'm not supposed to feel this way. I'm not supposed to feel hurt. I'm not supposed to feel pain. That's weakness. You know, that's insecurity and stuff like that. And that's really not the case at all. It takes a very strong person to live authentically, especially if, you know, there's pain and hurt and doubt involved, right? Let's see. So something that you guys can do in the 3D, okay? This is a somatic exercise. Something that you can do with your physical body and your physical senses to help move through some of this, you know, this energy here. And you guys can take a picture of it. This is from the deck that's called Hack Your Nervous System. Yeah, it says ground in and flow forward. Okay, we have dance yourself free. It says put on your favorite song and slowly begin to bring movement and rhythm into the parts of your body that have felt stressed recently. Let your focus land on the feeling rather than the appearance of your movement. Digging deeper, it says how would the qualities of joy, freedom, or power be expressed through your movement? If there are any difficult emotions you have been struggling with, what would it feel like to express them through your body? Okay, and so this is kind of giving that energy that might help you. Yeah, you know, there might be a stiffness coming through in your energy, you know, wanting to lock everything down. But the problem with that is when you lock down the challenging emotions, you also lock down the joyful ones as well. You know, the way it works, it's not selective. If you numb out all of the, you know, challenging emotions, you're also numbing out the joyful ones as well. And so for you guys, it's like the quickest way to switch up your energy that will help align you into the timeline that you're wanting is to kind of work through that, because it is coming through as being mentally and emotionally stiff, right? And that could be manifesting in through physical stiffness as well. Yeah, and for some of you, you might have some stiff joints, stiff muscles, really tightened up and stuff like that. And so there's a guidance here of like loosen up, pile 2, loosen up, right? That's the first step to kind of wiggling that mask loose and to drop the brave face. You know, if the truth for you in this moment, in this present moment, that everything is not all right, then that's the truth that you need to work through. That's the story that you need to really work with. And, you know, so I'm hearing to soften up. And, you know, for you, like actually tell yourself, okay, it's okay to soften up. It's okay to slow down and soften up and just settle into the present moment and into your body. And if you start to feel stiffness anywhere, it's like dance through it, move through it, okay? Loosen up is what's coming through for you guys, pile 2. When it comes to, you know, merging onto the timeline that you're wanting to experience. Let me look at deep freeze, not deep freeze, education again. Yeah, deep freeze wanted to come through. You guys are stiff, okay? You're mentally and emotionally stiff. That's what's coming through. That is part of what is keeping you guys. And a lot of that emotional and that mental stiffness is coming through because you're trying so hard to keep pain from showing through, from coming through. You're so afraid of letting others know that, you know, maybe you maybe somebody did get the best of you, right? But your breakthrough is going to come from allowing that to be known. Okay, you're human and it happens, right? And so the thing is if you're afraid of other people judging you, then even if they do, those are not your people, okay? What should happen when you loosen up that mask and you start letting people know that, yeah, that person got the best of me. You know, they did a number on me. I should have known better and stuff like that. The right people are going to want to hug you and encourage you and hold space for you. If you say that to somebody and they automatically start judging you or saying things that make you feel stupid or like you should have known better, that's not your tribe. Okay, pile 2. That was your reading. Hopefully it helped. I kind of feel like this one was all over the place, but it can be like that sometimes when you're talking about shadows. But anyway, if it did help you, do me a favor, smash the like button for me. It's a wonderful way to energetically donate to the channel. Comment below. Let me know that you picked this pile. Let me know how it resonated. Let me know what you're going to do with this, okay? Let me know what you're going to do with this information that we just tapped into. I'm curious to know how, you know, these kinds of videos are helping you guys become part of the family. If you want, by subscribing. And don't forget about the notification bell so you don't miss a reading or an announcement. I will see you guys at your next Pick a Card Love reading. Bye, guys. What's going on, pile 3? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. We are doing a Pick a Card Love reading. This is a manifesting in a specific person or a future spouse, whichever one you're looking for. It could be both. You may want the person on your mind to be a future spouse, whatever the case may be. We're doing a deep dive, you guys, in this reading, finding out exactly what it is, and we're looking at your specific energy, okay? We're looking at how you might be getting in the way of experiencing the relationship dynamic with the person on your mind, okay? Or a future spouse or lack thereof. Whatever the case may be for you, pile 3. Now, I just want to preface this by saying I'm somebody that believes in the law of assumption. I'm also somebody that believes, you know, in the concept that everyone and everything is you pushed out. that the physical world is 100% a mirrored reflection of what's going on within your own inner world and your inner dialogue and your assumptions and stuff like that. Okay. And so if you have a difficult time really looking at and or accepting that you have a direct role to play in how things have been unfolding so far, no shade and no judgment either way. I just don't want to waste your time. Okay. And if you have a hard time doing that, then you're not going to enjoy this reading. Okay. And so, if you don't believe that everyone and everything is you pushed out and that you are separate from your person and from your outside world and stuff like that, you're not gonna get the help that you need from this reading. So, just you can duck off here. That's your exit point. Okay, so you're not wasting your time. If you're still here, then yeah, that's what we're gonna be looking at is your energy. What is going on within you that continues to keep you anchored into a timeline that you do not want to be a part of anymore. Okay. And we're going to be looking at, some ways to get you untethered from this unpreferred timeline so that you can quantum jump into the timeline that you do want to be in. All right, pile 3. All right, so for those of you that don't know how to timeline shift or how, a lot of this is going to be talking about shadow work. Okay. I have a whole other channel. It's called Pure Godfidence, and there's 2 videos that can help you get started down that path. And so the first one is called How to Stop Manifesting Separation. The second video is the process by which to do that, called Releasing the Wands. Both links to both videos are in the description box below. Okay, and that's how you do the work of detaching from the timeline that is unpreferred so that you can quantum leap or quantum jump into the timeline that you do prefer. All right, pile 3. So yeah, keep in mind it's a general, whatever resonates, take it, run with it. If something isn't resonating, just drop it, leave it behind for whomever it does resonate for. I have personal readings available if you would like for me to tap exclusively into your energy to find out what's going on with you. I actually recommend a one-on-one with me via Zoom when it comes to, really delving into your own personal energy and what's going on within you that keeps creating a timeline that you don't want to be a part of. Okay. And the link to those personal private one-on-one readings are below, but I'll have a lot of readings available in the specific person category and in the future spouse category as well. All right. Okay. Pile 3, you guys were drawn to the lemon calcite. There's a lot of yellow coming through. Okay. So there might be some solar plexus work that you guys can do that can help you release yourself from the timeline that you don't want to be on, so that you can quantum jump onto the one that you do. All right, solar plexus work. Let's look at the main blocks going on here, though. All right, we have stoic. This appears cold-hearted but has deep emotions and feelings, afraid to show how they feel, runs away to protect themselves. Okay, so fixed energy coming through, mainly Aquarius and Scorpio. There might be some air energy in there as well. Aquarius and Scorpio. We also have, let's see, I just heard Aries. Okay, Aries too. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You guys could have like an air Venus or an air moon or a Scorpio moon or a Scorpio Venus. Okay. Stoic, yeah, so again, Stoic says, appears cold-hearted but has deep emotions and feelings, afraid to show how they feel, runs away to protect themselves. Right away, I'm getting avoidant energy from you guys. Could be, more fearful, avoidant, or what they call disorganized attachment. We also have tainted scars. It says it attracts the same type of person, tainted pleasures, hang-ups about physical intimacy. It says uncommunicative about feelings. Fantasyland says idealistic view of love, thinks everything is perfect and going as planned. Lives in pretend world, not real love, illusions. Oh, okay, I kind of see what's happening here. You guys, it may be more of a dynamic for you guys, pile 3, where you may not even realize this about yourself. You may actually be on the avoidant side of the scale in terms of romantic connections just altogether. This could be a very subconscious thing going on with you. Because if you do get into a relationship, that may be where the fearful part of your attachment, insecure attachment, is activated. So yeah, I'm picking up fearful avoidant for a lot of you. Okay. Again, you could be, without realizing it, blocking out romantic love altogether. Okay, so highly avoidant, maybe even dismissive avoidant. You may consciously want, a romantic relationship or even a future spouse, but there's a deeper part of you that's like, hell to the no, we don't. All right. There could also be a thing with you where you may have an idealistic view of love, and there may be an even deeper part of you that's like the fairy tale doesn't exist. So why even try, right? Very much about uncommunicative about feelings, afraid of showing how you feel. You may be seen by others as being very cold and very detached. But again, this is saying that there's so much more beneath the surface, but you don't feel comfortable sharing that. Or what's the other word that wants to come through? Alluding to that. That's not it, but we're going to move on with, let's see, the reading. You could be unconsciously blocking out romantic love because of past patterns. With tainted scars here, attracts the same type of person. Tainted pleasures. You may have experienced it where it was like at one point, the connection was paradise and then it turned out to be hell, right? And so there's something going on within your nervous system that is just like, it sees romantic connections overall as just one big hell no. Okay, one big nope, one big we're not doing that again. Okay, even though consciously you're wanting it. There could be a thing with you, and maybe you don't have an idealistic of love. Maybe for you, you're just like, I just want somebody that is, I just want someone that's loyal, that's going to match my energy. I just want somebody that blah, 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 right? And really all you're wanting is somebody that's like you, naturally, right? And you might have a hard time seeing that that exists, okay? Not truly believing that your ideal exists, and really your ideal isn't unrealistic. It's just you have a hard time viewing it as something that is truly possible, whether you're consciously aware of that or not. Let's look at this card. We got the Bone Collector in the reverse. So this is going to be the path for you to follow. That is going to be the quickest path to get you onto the timeline that you want to experience. The number 1, a whole new beginning, but we have it in the reverse. So let's see. Reverse, it says, the past has a way of repeating itself when you haven't learned the lesson of the original situation. You're faced with this now. The Bone Collector challenges you to see yourself as a whole being and not one who is perpetually trying to heal an old wound. Ooh, okay. This says you'll repeat the past if you don't reclaim the things you believe were lost. So number 1, what just came out here is dare to believe that you're not wounded. Like you might be taking that on as an actual identity, right? You might be manifesting situations and relationships and connections with people who ultimately end up abandoning you because one of your central identities is I am the abandoned one. I am the abandoned, right? I am the orphan. And so if you are living, and I get that some of you you came up with that identity because maybe you have been abandoned, right? Not saying that you don't have a very good reason for having that belief. But again, going back to the law of assumption and everyone and everything as you pushed out, you're continuing to perpetuate that experience for yourself because you're holding this assumption and this belief about yourself that I am abandoned. I'm always abandoned. I'm always left, right? Or it could just be that that's how you view romantic connections. All good things come to an end, or everyone cheats and stuff like that. And so really looking at that. The bone collector challenges you to see yourself as a whole being and not one who is perpetually trying to heal an old wound. You will repeat the past if you don't reclaim the things you believe are lost. The information you seek lies in your history. Familiarity in this case isn't an invitation to dance the old dance once again. It is a call to retreat and choose differently. The bone collector has a message. If you do what you did, you'll get what you've always got. Her warning is delivered with kindness, for she has deep love and respect for you. She will protect you. There's actually a really wonky advice coming through. This is almost like a face your fear kind of a thing, pile 2 or pile 3, sorry. Okay. The path for you literally is to go ahead and go get yourself into a connection even through that fear. How's it wanting to come out? Give me a second. It's going to feel so contrary. It's going to feel like a big fuck you. But it is a way of like facing your fears. Like go ahead and go find the most, like go find the most avoidant person that you can find and allow yourself. It's almost like go looking for it, right? A lot of you are avoiding romantic connections, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, as a way to avoid being abandoned. And so it's like face that fear of being abandoned and go actually seek it out. Okay. And and maybe it really is just allowing yourself to come face to face with your own inner fear of abandonment. So that could just be you coming face to face with maybe having been abandoned by one of your parents or both of your parents when you were little, right? Whether that was by way of actually, neglect or abandonment, or some of you may, be an orphan or, adopted or whatever the case may be. But there's a definite, I'm picking up on an inner demon, an inner monster, that could be the abandonment wound itself. And so the quickest way for you to get off the path that you're on now is to face that quote unquote that inner demon of abandonment. Go look it out. Go fish it out. And the thing that's going to do is it's going to trigger all the pain that needs to be cleared out within you. Again, this is shadow work. That's going right into the belly of the beast. And so, those 2 videos that I mentioned earlier on in the reading will help you do that. You need to stare down that very scary monster of I'm not enough, or everyone leaves, or I'm gonna be left behind for someone else, or I'm gonna be ditched, or something like that. Okay. Some of you are, whether you realize it or not, you with tainted scars here, you are absolutely, and this could be nervous system subconscious work, could absolutely be refusing to allow you to get into a romantic connection because of the pattern that has been clocked, right? Tainted scars again says attracts the same type of person. Hang-ups about physical intimacy, uncommunicative about feelings, but really it feels like a fear of attracting the same type of person, that type of person that abandons you, that is emotionally unavailable. And it's like it feels wonky, but it's like if you face that demon and really face it, right? Not looking for a romantic connection to run away from being abandoned, but looking for a romantic connection to help you really face that inner demon down so that you can integrate it and get it out of your system, okay? Not to say that the next romantic connection that comes through, whether it's with your person or with someone new or a future spouse, you know, if that person ends up abandoning you, that person again is a 100% mirror reflection of what's going on within your own energy. That is your opportunity to use that pain and that quote unquote being abandoned experience as a portal to help you jump onto the timeline that you're wanting to jump. But here it's like, don't run away from it, actually run into it, right? This is like the building's on fire, and it's like, okay, run into that building that's on fire and go rescue whoever needs to be rescued, which in this case would be whoever it was, or however many versions of you that were abandoned, right? Maybe when you were like a little 7-year-old, you felt abandoned by somebody, right? You had an experience when you were 7 years old that made you feel abandoned. Well, that 7-year-old is in that burning house. Go get it. Go get that person. Okay, it's that kind of an energy. Let's see, and now we have some actual 3D somatic exercises here that you can do with your physical body. Let's see, and it's coming from the deck called Hack Your Nervous System, Ground In, Flow Forward. There's 2 different cards coming out here. We have the first one we're going to read is for those of you where you might be experiencing acute stress that might be brought up in regards to doing shadow work, being triggered by abandonment wounds. Okay, so this one says tapping. I'll let you guys take a picture of that. It says, set up your script to silently say or out loud as you tap, even though I am feeling blank, and that could be overwhelmed, anxious, etc. I still deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then it tells you here how to do the tapping. Okay, just take a picture of that. At the very bottom, it says, take deep breaths with full exhales between repetitions. Repeat until you feel a shift in your mood, all right? EFT tapping is proven to help reprocess difficult emotional experiences, making them feel more manageable. And then we also have, this one is for mild stress or for maintenance. This is drawing in the senses. You can take a picture of that one too, or a screenshot. This says, start by becoming aware of the farthest sounds your ears can capture. Allow your attention to rest and focus there. Next, let your hearing explore the sounds that are a bit closer, i.e., the trees rustling outside. Then notice the noises within this room. What can you hear? Finally, place your attention on the sounds of your own body, your breath, your heartbeat, etc. Gently release the practice and become aware of what has changed. This yogic practice improves focus and increases mindfulness. All right, so 2 different things for you to do, just depending on how severe that triggered response is. If it's acute, you know, do the tapping bit. If it's just mild or a mild annoyance, you can just do drawing in the senses. All right, pile 3, that was your reading. Thank you so much for hanging out with me again today. If this reading helped you, or if you got from this reading what you came here for, you can show your appreciation by smashing the like button. For me, it's a wonderful way to energetically donate to the channel. Comment below, let me know that you picked this pile. Let me know how it helped you, okay? And then if you haven't become part of the family and you would love to do so, you can do that by subscribing. Don't forget about the notification bell so you don't miss a reading or an announcement. And I will see you guys at your next Pick a Card Love reading. Bye.